back to Glitter Budget with your hosts, Anjanette.
And Jess,
And in today's episode, we're talking about the Santa Claus.
an actual Christmas movie this time.
Yeah, actual Christmas movie.
Yeah.
So, it's a Disney movie, one of the live actions, made in 1994, directed by John Pasquin, written by Leo Benvenuti and Steve Rudnick, starring Tim Allen as Scott Calvin, aka the Santa Claus. Judge Reinhold as Neil, Wendy Crewson as Laura, Eric Lloyd as Charlie, David Krumholtz, woo, as Bernard, and several others.
Fuck everybody else. No.
There are a lot of people that started in this movie, but Peter Boyle is in this movie as well.
Yes.
And I love him very much. But yeah, so I thought it was kind of funny.
I think it's hilarious. I don't Will hates it.
Well, no, I love the movie itself, but I think it's funny that Disney has like a thing where like, we don't hire criminals.
Oh, yeah, the Tim Allen thing.
Tim Allen
Yeah.
has a criminal record, and they were like, nah, we'll make an exception. And then we'll make an exception again for Toy Story.
I mean, once you cast somebody once, you've already
Yeah.
broken that claw. You've already broken that clause.
Was it the Santa Claus? Anyway, I love this movie. Like, I loved it when it came out. It's been, before I realized that other people loved this movie, it was like a secret, like, shame of mine. Not even shame, but like, it was like a guilty pleasure. Like,
Really?
I loved, yeah.
Why was it guilty? Why were you guilty about it?
Because
Why were you shameful?
no one else expressed their love for it, and I felt like it was back before I, really didn't give two shits. I mean, I still care sometimes what people think, but like, before many moons ago, I cared a lot. So I didn't want to let it be known that I liked a family film such as The Santa Claus.
I don't give a shit. I think it's hilarious. Remember watching it with my gam a lot. Yeah. So I have fond memories of that. But I don't know. As a kid I thought it was funny. And then as an adult I think it's funny, but for different reasons.
Yes.
I was laughing the whole time because I'm just like, these reactions that he's having is like I would be going through the same thing.
Yeah.
Like my responses would be the exact same.
Yeah. Like when he's drinking the soy milk, he's like, she's like, I think your milk is sour. Little girl's like, it's soy milk. And he's like, what? You said you're lactose intolerant. I did. Thank you for remembering.
I love when the first go around. So and to watching it as an adult, I'm like, so the elves seem to just be immortal.
Yep.
Because the one elf was just it's taken me 1,200 years to perfect this cocoa recipe, and I'm like, 1,200 years?
Yep.
How many Santas have you been through? Why are Santas not technically immortal? What is happening?
Yeah, well, that's why there is the Santa Claus.
But and then I'm sitting there wondering, if this was common knowledge, would there be a profession of Santa Claus hitman? People that want to be Santa Claus, so they just stake out their own house to try to push them off the fucking roof so they can be Santa Claus. These are the things I think about.
This is why adults shouldn't watch this movie sometimes.
At the end when Charlie's just I think I might go into the family business. I'm like, so you're gonna off your dad?
Yes. I wonder if a Santa could be like, I don't want to do it anymore. I'm tired. If he could just put down the suit and be like, if he could keep it in the family business and be like, all right, Charlie's going to be Santa now.
I know they made a couple movies after this, so I'm sure it probably explains that somewhere.
Yeah. I was kind of hoping Disney wouldn't franchise it, but of course Disney did, that's just what they do.
It makes money.
But this is the only Santa Claus movie that does not have a villain.
Yes. Which, you know what, though, I like, though.
Mhm.
I liked the whole idea behind it. It was something different. It's unique.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone's really asked the question of, how does one become Santa Claus? Again, I think you always just assume that Santa Claus has been the same person since forever.
Yeah.
But,
yeah, I agree. I think it's it's a cute idea. And, just the thought that the idea that they had like all the elves kind of like secretly there in the background like the entire time.
Yeah, which I never picked up on as a kid ever.
Yeah, because you don't really, you're never actually looking for the elves, but you see their little pointy ears and stuff like that, and then elves with attitude,
Yeah.
your worst nightmares.
I don't know. I love too like the dynamic between the family too. So like obviously Tim Allen's character is kind of portrayed as like this workaholic that doesn't really have too much involvement with the son. His son's kind of like over the relationship and just like how superficial it is. But
Yeah,
at the end of the day though, like he wants him to still be a kid.
yeah,
So like this argument of like, well, I don't know. Neil says that Santa Claus isn't real. I don't know if I believe in him. And he's just like appalled by that of like, no, like
yeah,
totally real. Like, what are you talking about? It's like clearly like there's still that kid piece like that's still inside of him versus like this stuffy, stupid
yeah.
psychiatrist that's like, it's not real. You need to
Well,
stop believing in Santa.
I also think it's because like Scott Calvin works at a toy company,
Right.
so I think he's still, yes, he is very much a businessman, but he also does want to keep kids' imaginations alive and like keep kids being kids and stuff like that and let them believe in Santa Claus until like they're at an age where, maybe adulthood and they stop believing in Santa Claus or something like that.
They
But
eventually just figure it out on their own.
yeah, but the like it's I thought it was like an interesting dynamic. So like there's they are separated or divorced or
They're
whatever.
divorced, yeah.
The ex-wife is with this new stuffy psychiatrist, and so they're just navigating holidays like in a co-parenting kind of way. And
I just like I just love the whole dynamic. In the very beginning, like you see him at the holiday Christmas party, celebrating, make a ton of money, super late to go home to his own kid for Christmas Eve because I think that was like the custody agreement.
yeah,
He gets a son Christmas Eve, and then he's picked up Christmas. And the kids, like I said, it's just like, Ma, you're gonna pick me up like crack of dawn, right?
yeah,
And you get me the fuck out of here like first thing next morning. So Tim Allen desperately tries to make like the nice holiday dinner with the turkey and everything, and you just see like this beautiful spread of like all the sides, and then him just with a fire extinguisher, just putting out the turkey that just keeps catching. But I love the scene at Denny's though, where you just look around, it's all the other dads in the same
yeah,
boat, like we're right there with you, buddy.
yeah.
Fucking turkey man.
I like a lot of um the callbacks that they keep doing to Home Improvement.
Yes.
'Cause I don't think there are a lot of people that grew up watching Home Improvement.
Me.
So Tim Allen playing Tim the Toolman Taylor, and that's the joke that he does with the fire extinguisher.
Yeah.
It's like, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is why you want to have a good quality fire extinguisher on hand, because that's what his character would do on the show all the time. Is like he was accident prone, so some shit that would go down, he'd be like, and that's why you would want to have this handy dandy thing on hand.
Yeah.
Uh,
He was making bank that year between
yes,
Tool Time and this movie, and like
he had
he was rolling in it.
he had a book that was doing
That's
like
right.
the number one bestseller at the time too. So like this hit number one in the box office. Home Improvement was like one of the most popular TV shows on television at the time, and his book was doing very very well as well.
But he was living it up.
Yep. So I think that's why Disney was just like, all right, I guess we can look past the criminal activity.
Which like what was it like DUI or
I honestly don't know. I feel like I don't his criminal activity or whatever, I don't remember nearly as much as like I remember Robert Downey Jr. when his shit, and like he made a huge turnaround.
Yeah.
But like so I'm assuming it was something fairly minor because it did not have a lasting effect. Like no one brings that up nearly as much as,
True.
well, look at Robert Downey Jr. now.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's
it could
fair.
also just be like the difference in like Robert Downey Jr. now as opposed to like Tim Allen now.
Yeah. Yeah, the stardom's wee bit different.
Yeah.
So, but I don't know. One of like the few Christmas movies that like I actually enjoy sitting through and like actually watching and like relaxing. Like I can get into it.
Mm-hmm.
but like his first go around as Santa Claus, where he ends up just inadvertently putting on the suit and then figuring everything out, but him like pulling out that fucking kayak
Yeah.
just cracks me up every time. Like just lets it fall over, pulls out the paddles, and just like, like just just tosses it. I'm like, yep, something that's what I would do. Like, but could you imagine though waking up Christmas morning to just your entire living room fucked, Christmas tree falling over, kayak everywhere, paddles somewhere in the mix, like.
Yep. And then you just think, oh, mom and dad got drunk again.
Yeah. No.
Yeah. But like it's got a very nice little message behind it. And yeah. Did you find a lot of trivia about the making of this movie?
Not too much. I know strangely enough, obviously it had to be released during Christmas time. It's a Christmas movie or whatever, and it was filmed mainly in Canada, but during the summer. And I guess like a lot of like the areas that they were filming in and like in studio and stuff really didn't have a lot of AC. So Tim Allen was just fucking miserable the entire time in like the fat suit. And you know, all of like the elves that they had in the movie
Or
obviously were
children.
kids. So he was like would forget a lot and would just be miserable and pissy and in between takes like cursing up a storm.
Yeah.
Just like probably completely inapproachable.
Yeah. I mean, can you imagine you got the fat suit on, the costume on top of that,
The beard.
the beard, and I guess the prosthetics on top of like he had facial prosthetics as well, but they were giving him like a really nasty rash. So he was just not having a good time, and I think probably after that he's like, you know what? Voice acting from now on for any kind of Disney film.
I mean, he kept it together. Like he can't really doesn't portray that way like in the film. You know what I mean? Well, aside for any any of the interactions between him and the stepdad, you know, are just fantastic.
That's
Like the amount of like them busting the balls about his fugly ass sweaters.
yeah. Just the vitriol coming from Scott to Neil's just it's gold. I love it.
I loved it. Like at the end, once like Neil and the wife start to realize that like, oh shit, they're not crazy. He is
Mhm.
Santa Claus. Santa Claus is real. Holy fuck. And Bernard just shows up and he's like, that's a great sweater. Is that one of ours? And just starts almost like taking the sweater off of him to like look at the tag.
Oh my god. That's what I remember David Krumholtz from though. I remember him from this movie.
Mm-hmm.
And then when he went on to do like other movies and especially when he was in Numbers, I was like, which stupid sidebar, because they use a 3 in Numbers, I always say num-3ers in my head before I say numbers. Just a little stupid tidbit about my mind and what I say in my head before I say it out loud. Num-3ers
Num-3ers.
instead of numbers. But anyway, that's what I remember David Krumholtz from, and I will always love him as Bernard.
He was kind of a dick.
So what? They're elves. Whatever.
Like I don't, but like as a kid though, I don't remember thinking like, oh, this guy's kind of a jerk. Like, what is wrong with him? Or the fact that like he's the only he's teen. I don't like, you know, he's not really an elf. Like, kind of an
Kind
elf,
of
not really an
adult-ish.
elf. Like,
Yeah. Oh my god, 10 Things I Hate About You. He was in that one too.
what was it?
10 Things I Hate About You. Tell me you don't remember that fucking movie.
Of course, I remember the movie. I'm trying to think of him in the movie.
Remember he was like the nerdy kid, friend of Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Yeah.
I'm gonna prophylactic.
Yeah.
Prophylactic.
Okay. Yeah. No,
I can thank that movie for knowing that prophylactic also meant contraceptive.
Who says that Hollywood can't educate us?
See? Nah. But back to Santa Claus. The scene where Scott as Santa is in the interrogation room and he's giving all the other names for Santa Claus. I always say Topo Gijo in like randomly. There's nothing that makes me think it or whatever. It's just the way he says it. That will sometimes play in my head random times of the day.
That's really fucking random. Like, what?
But that's also not a name for Santa. That was actually a little Italian mouse puppet from the Ed Sullivan Show. So it's not.
Well, like, why use that name then? Like, I don't
I
understand.
I don't know. I think he was just kind of like Scott being weird,
Yeah.
like giving the other names, and then it's just like Topo Gigio. But I will always remember that.
I don't know.
Why I don't know. My mind is weird. Topo Gigio and the Num Threeers. I don't know why I'm
It's okay.
stupid.
You're not stupid. It's just quirky. It's so funny.
I should be committed. Ay ay ay.
I don't know. But yeah, like, watching Bernard was like, damn, dude, you're a fucking slave driver and you're kind of a dick. Kind of soften up at the end with Charlie.
Yeah.
He's kind of a tool.
He's just, he's a little uptight. He's got to keep everyone in line. There has to be some kind of adult because Santa's always off doing Santa things.
But I mean, again, though, technically they're all adults.
He's just an adultier looking one
Okay.
because he's taller
I
and
guess.
stuff. I don't know. I'm making shit up. But I liked Bernard. Maybe because he's just a little anal retentive like someone I know. I feel for him. Anyway, there's the elf Quentin near the end of the movie. That's going over all of like the new specs,
Yeah.
the upgrades to the sleigh, and it's kind of like an homage to James Bond films with Q.
Cute, yeah.
which
I thought it was cute.
I thought, yeah, I thought
Oh,
so. Like
yeah.
they always put like little things for the adults to enjoy in Disney movies.
I guess in this one, you get every reindeer that Santa has aside for Rudolph. But when he first lands at the North Pole the first time he is accidentally Santa, the North Pole pulls up and a little elf comes out, punches in 1239, which was actually when Rudolph was first introduced.
Yeah.
Was the month in the year, so that was kind of like the little homage to that. But you don't actually get a Rudolph
Yes.
to everybody else, but and I don't think they actually bring that up.
Not. Do they? I don't think so.
Yeah,
I don't remember Rudolph in this one.
Comet was fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
A little
Comet
sassy.
was the troublemaker. Uh, I was gonna bring up something. Fucking ow. Okay. So there's a line. I remember this quite distinctly growing up. The 1-800 spank me, which they cut out of most of the streaming. So like if it streams on like you can watch it on like iTunes, Disney Plus, and all that kind of stuff, but they cut that line out on those streaming services. But if you have like the original DVD or Blu-ray or whatever, it's still in there. And I think there's like a few streaming services where you can watch it, but it's like Vudu and
Oh, okay.
those kind of like,
I mean, obviously, right now you can watch on Disney Plus, which it's cut out.
yes, needless to say.
It's cut out. I mean, aside from the fact that it's supposed to be a kids movie. I mean, it's hilarious, but it was a real number.
Yeah.
So they started to get complaints. Disney started to get complaints because kids were like, "Wonder if this is actually a thing," and started calling it. And it was like, one of those dirty.
It was an actual phone sex line.
Yeah. So they kept apologizing. They kept apologizing, and then Disney was like, "You know what? We're just gonna buy it. We're just gonna buy the number, so we could just get rid of it."
Yeah.
And then they ended up just cutting it out of the film anyway.
Yeah.
I thought it was hilarious, but like, I just want to know who decided to, one, write it into the script, keep it, and then 3, like, not check to see if it was an actual number, or if they knew and they were just like, no one's gonna call
Well, I think that's one of the reasons why a lot of films had to stop using actual numbers or like numbers that didn't have like 555 as like the first 3 numbers outside of the area code.
it. Right.
So like because people would call these numbers.
Curious minds want to know.
Exactly. The same thing with like websites. If you mention a website in a movie or a TV show, people will visit it. But like Sir Mix-a-Lot's fucking song.
Oh, yeah.
The
True.
dial 1-900 Mix-a-Lot.
Yeah.
Was it 1-900 or 1-800? I think it's 1-900.
Yeah, it's 1-900.
That was a real line.
Well, I don't know. We are curious creatures, so I guess that makes sense, though.
I don't know. It's
But I
just
still think it's hilarious, though, like how because a lot of the parents too were not only complaining that it was like an actual sex line, but just the amount of phone bills that just went through the roof.
yeah, just racking it up. I think it first started off with like a grandma that was trying to dial it for her grandkids that wanted to see if it was a real number. I can just imagine that grandma being like, 1-800 spank me. And it's just hilarious.
I wonder how many how many kids, curious kids, like stumbled upon it, but then how many dads were like, "Yeah, no, it was the kids. The phone bills. It's from the kids."
Yeah, Johnny wanted to know, why was Johnny on the phone for 20 minutes? Huh? 'Cause what would they even charge for that? $1 a minute?
Yeah,
Woo!
I better hope that you're fast.
I mean, just knowing the disappointing parents that are out there. Sorry. Anyway,
Yeah, so what? It got dark real quick.
yeah. Anyway, Santa Claus. I don't even I never really noticed until I was today years old that it's called the Santa Claus because of the clause, as in a contract a clause, making anyone who puts on the suit the new Santa Claus without the E. So like I was when we were like texting about it, and I was like, oh yeah, Santa Claus, because I know Santa Claus is spelled Claus.
Right.
And then I was looking at the trivia online and stuff like that, and I saw that the title of the movie was Clause. I'm like, but if you look at the poster, the E is like a different color. I think it's like red, whereas like the other letters are green.
Right.
And I was like, oh my God. I
It all
just
makes sense.
fucking realized that it's the Santa Claus clauses in a contract to play on words. Mind blown. I don't know why it took me 32 years of living.
And what? All right. So again, adult brain going here, but like, what if?
Oh God, I don't know. I don't want to know what you're gonna say. Go on.
What if he didn't put on? Like, what if nobody put on the suit? What if he was just like, "Oh my God, I committed a murder. I got to get rid of this thing. It's evidence."
So
Just
what
like
would
no
he?
more Santa Claus?
Well, they couldn't. They would have to. I don't know. I'm assuming that the elves would get it at some point. Wasn't there another clause written? No. Something else written in the contract, like if no one did claim it.
Oh, maybe. I don't know. I know obviously the clause had said like, basically if you fuck up Santa and you decide to put on his suit, like you are now obligated to become Santa Claus. Like you have no choice.
Yeah.
And you have to wear the suit until like either the same thing happens to you, I think, or at which time like you're no longer fit to be Santa.
Yeah.
That's all I remember.
Yeah. I don't know.
It's like I'm just saying, like hypothetically, they get like the wrong house where there are already like some criminals in there and they got warrants out. And they're like, oh fuck, I just killed someone. Like, we got to get rid of this evidence.
Well, based on Santa would visit that house because they're on the naughty list.
What if they're reformed? What if they haven't committed any crimes recently in the past year?
And they would start again by committing murder and then covering it up.
Well, it was an accident, but when you got like a record like that,
Yeah, but you could still be like, this dude he fell off the roof. Wasn't our fucking fault.
I'm just saying, sometimes people panic.
I don't know. I just think that your scenario is flawed, but
I'm overthinking it way too much. I'm just like, listen, that could have gone any one of which ways. Like, what if Charlie didn't wake up and it was just his dad woke up and was just like, oh, fuck. I ain't putting on the suit, and just like kind of hides it, went back to bed or called the police and whatever the fuck.
I'm assuming that the elves would come and gather it, and then they would try to find a suitable clause.
That's probably right. Fair enough.
Because it's not like you couldn't destroy the suit or whatever. Like you
Yeah.
could probably like bury it or whatever, but you would still have the reindeer on the roof.
True. I'm just assuming they would fly back home.
Possibly.
I don't know. Like I said, I'm just overthinking it. It's just stuff that you don't think about as a kid.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Still got to make it all the way around the world and visit everyone that believes in Christmas and celebrates it. They'd have to visit everyone.
Yeah, I love like Charlie's responses, like quick responses too, to Neil's questions about that. It's like, well, not everyone believes in Santa, and I'm pretty sure there's some type of weird time continuum that helps him. Like,
Yeah.
not everyone's gonna get a gift because not everyone's like been nice that year.
Yeah.
Just like just rapid fire responses of like poking holes through it to the point where you could tell like he was getting really frustrated. Have you seen a reindeer fly? Well, no. You seen $1 million? Doesn't make it not real.
True. But also, when Charlie is like talking to Scott in the beginning of the movie, going like, because Scott's reading him the night before Christmas, and he's like, "Well, what if they don't have a chimney? What if like this, that, and the other thing?" And like Scott's trying to like answer all these questions. Just go to bed.
I don't know.
So you can tell he's not quite like used to having that kind of relationship with his kid where
Yeah.
like it's like really understanding, but like obviously it helps now that he's the Santa Claus.
That he was. I don't know. I just love how he was just like in such denial the entire year, and it's just the magic that is surrounds Santa Claus in the suit. It's just like, oh, you're gonna wake up one day 45 pounds heavier, and like it's just gonna be forced upon you. You're literally gonna have no choice. Literally nothing you can do about it.
Yeah.
You're gonna be fat, gray, and old.
So you just kind of wonder like what happened to his life in general because, he's staying at the North Pole now that he's Santa Claus. So, Scott Calvin, is he considered dead to the regular world?
Like
The
I said,
rest
there
of
was
us.
there was other movies after that I'm sure explain that as well.
Maybe, but I
Because like
think
in
it's
this movie, like he tries to keep it together. Scott Calvin is like completely in denial and tries to go to work and
I know, but he still like looks like Santa Claus. He still eats milk and cookies all the time. But he couldn't maintain that dual identity kind of thing.
yeah, no.
So, does everyone else in his life now accept him as Santa Claus, or do they just think that Scott Calvin went AWOL?
I don't know. Watch the other movies to find out.
What if they don't
I'm not
answer those
willing to do.
questions? What if they don't answer the questions?
Figure it out for yourself. I don't fucking know.
What kind of answer is that? You're just like, figure it out.
I don't know. I'm assuming that considering that work already thinks that he went like batshit crazy, that maybe he just went ahead and like put in his 2 weeks, bowed out, and they just think that he, like you said, that he left.
I don't know.
He didn't really seem to like he had like a ton of friends. The people who matter know.
I has questions, but I'm not going to watch the other ones
Yeah,
because
neither am I. So
this one was it for me. I didn't need to like continue the story.
no, I don't really like. I know my grandmother loved Disney movies and like Christmas movies and stuff. So I know like I've seen bits and pieces of some of the other ones because she used to watch them. I don't remember them.
Yeah.
And like I love this one because to me it's a classic. Just growing up, like I grew up with it, so like I will continue to rewatch it. And I do love it, but yeah, not enough to continue to watch the other ones though. Like as an
No.
adult now, I'm not gonna be like, hey,
Oh, I remember seeing that Martin Short was, I think, Jack Frost or something or
Yeah.
whatever, and the other ones, and it was just, I don't know. They seemed
cheesy and
yes,
well, poorly done. Yeah.
yeah. So they didn't really. It wasn't fulfilling a need for me, personally. But so the other Christmas movies that we're going to be doing are, because I forget, what are they?
The original A Grinch Stole Christmas.
Yeah, the original. And I feel like there's like so many other Christmas movies. Either Home Alone movie.
Yeah.
That one's good.
I know you didn't want to do Jingle All the Way.
Yeah, it's dumb.
And I know you don't like A Christmas Story. But I feel like that was on the list. I don't remember.
I think it was.
It's a classic.
It's a dumb classic.
Why do you hate it?
Because it's stupid. The leg lamp. You'll shoot your eye out. Oh, fudge. It's dumb.
Wow. It's like the perfect epitome of like most families during that time.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I did not. So I guess to like, not sort of be fair to me, I don't know. I did not grow up watching that movie.
Ah, okay. Well,
I watched it for the first time when I was in college, which at this point was
10 years ago.
almost.
Yeah.
Well, from when I graduated. At this point, yeah, it was 10 years ago that I watched it. And I was like, meh. Like, I got all the references. Like, now I know for sure where all the references were from. Like Double Dog Dare You and all that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. But I was like, you know what? I could have. It satisfied that need. Like, I got to see where all the references were from, but it did not do anything for me. Like, I don't have to watch it every year. Like,
Well,
'cause it doesn't.
we'll discuss that further when we get to that movie.
All right, fine. So, animated How the Grinch Stole Christmas and The Stupid Christmas Story
Oh my God.
will be the last two Christmas movies that we do.
Yes.
So, stay tuned for those. We'll have all of our social medias linked in the description box down below. And if you like our vibe, please like and subscribe.